Yeah.
Because this will carry over to strict press and everything else.
Okay.
In my mind, the only grip on a bar that is a full grip is a full fucking bar in palm. Sorry, rephrase. Drop that palm. I believe in one grip, and that is a full grip of the bar. Anything outside of that bar living in my thumb valley, that's why we have this valley here, right? It's to hold barbells. That thumb valley, and it comes right across and lands on that pad in my hand. That pad is designed to hold the barbell. I don't want it here. I want it through that thumb valley and right there. All my fingers around that bar. That is a grip of a barbell. Anything outside of that is the human working around an immobile joint. So if they're doing anything outside of that, either they've been taught incorrectly or they're immobile in a joint that they're trying to compensate for. So if I'm doing a bent over row, bar is here. If I'm doing a bench press, bar is here. If I'm doing a front squat, bar is here. If bar is here, then that means I probably don't have the range of motion through my lats and pecs to get to a front rack, so then I have to break at the wrist and let the bar live back here. So it's a workaround an immobile joint. But just understand, the grip of a barbell is that bar in my thumb valley and resting on that pad. Now I'm going to front squat and I'm going to open my hands because my joints suck today, right? Let's be honest. So I get this, I get this. Now if you look the way I'm gripping that bar, I'm internally rotated. I have to be internally rotated to find thumb valley and pad. And then I externally rotate at the shoulder. My grip didn't change. My grip didn't go to my fingers. My grip stayed there. Rotation happened at the shoulder, right? So boom, I grab, rotation happens at the shoulder. Now if I'm front squatting, oh yeah, oh there we go. Okay, there's my front rack today. Now, for me to get my thumbs up higher or my elbows up higher, I'd have to break into that. So that's a work around an immobile joint. But the grip is this. That's also the same grip as my back squat. It's also the same grip as my bent over row. It's also the same grip as my strict press. That is the grip of a barbell. Anything outside of that is working around an immobile joint or just hasn't been taught correctly. So we can address that, number one, with your classes. Like, how are we gripping the bars? Lots of people live here. Right? So once I got that grip, my elbows are coming up as high as I can get them because I'm trying to keep that bar back into that throat, trying to get as close to my spine as possible. On a back squat, again, trying to get as close to my spine as possible. So what does that look like? That looks like my spine being right there. Doesn't feel the greatest. It's literally sitting on the bone. So what I do is I narrow my grip up and I create a little pillow with my traps. Or with the top of your rhomboids, right? Where your traps are around your neck. I create a little pillow there and I let that bar sit on that pillow. And then my lats, I'm still wound up through the shoulder. I'm still trying to find external rotation, even in my back squat. So I'm still wound up in there and you can see my lats start to flare. And then I've seen everything from elbows come front of bar. I want elbows behind bar a little bit. And I want you to wind that ladder. I'm trying to find rotation while my hand's on the bar. And if you came in and poked under my armpits there, my lats are pretty fucking wound up. I got a bunch of tension in them. And I'm pulling down into my traps as well. So there's no movement in my upper back as I drop down into my squat and right back up. That address the question on the grip.
In other words, there's not necessarily a reason to stop the athlete from front squatting with that type of grip, but just to address with that ideally you want this full grip and to work on mobility.
Yeah. So could they work around to an open fingered front squat? Sure. I would probably, personally, I would address open fingered and elbows down because that's a ramp. That's just bar's gonna come out.
Right.
So trying to figure out some kind of workaround to get them in a better position so that even if they're open fingers, we want elbows high.
Right.
Because they're open fingered, elbows down, that's a wrap. It's just going to come tearing out of their hands. And then there's all kinds of other little ways to create grips for front squats. Hang out right there. You can look at these things are a phenomenal way to get somebody front squat. Take this, you wrap it around here. I'm really super immobile. I got no front rack. I can't protract my shoulder blades. I'm stuck. I can front squat a lot of weight here. What I do, I just gave myself some room. I can't get my hand back in there, but I can grab these and I can choke up on these and I can front squat the world like this. This is a way easier grip than, oh, you see me trying to get in there, right? Like, I'm tight today, so this is a way to get somebody into a front squat. Because really, what are we trying to do? The whole goal of the front squat is to put the load in front half of the body so that my abs and my core have to work harder. And when I work harder in these positions, my knees drive forward, I become quad dominant in my squat. So the front squat's doing nothing but trying to build some quads and do that in a pattern that requires me to keep my chest up and put a lot of stress into the core, or a lot of load into my core, my ability to mitigate a hinge, to work out of a hinge. That's all the front squat's for. And then when we back squat, we put the bar on our backs, we allow ourselves a tiny bit of hinge. If we think about angles, if we get down there at the bottom and I got a little hinge, it become very glute fibers on stretch, right? So if I'm in a squat here and I hinge a tiny bit and I drive down and back, these glute fibers are be putting on an obscene amount of stretch. So it becomes a little more glute dominant in my back squat. And when I keep the torso upright, they don't get put on the stretch. My quads get put on more stretch at my knees, so then it becomes quad dominant in the front squat. So do the principles change? Same principles. We just change how we load the body where the bar lives, but still big toe, little toe, heel rooted. It's still finding torque through that chain for stability. And then if I'm loading up my spine, we're still trying to do it in a neutral spine.
How do you describe how you distribute that weight on the bottom of your squat?
No different.
Where do you feel like you want to keep a lot of that weight? Because I feel like sometimes...
Right over the knot in your tennis shoe.
What is it?
The knot in your tennis shoe. This is center of your foot. So as long as I'm applying force there, I can change my other angles to bias different muscles, but I'm still driving force out of the knot in my tennis shoe.
That's a good...
Because that would be the center of my base. And my goal as a human, subconsciously, is to kick my center of mass over my center of base. Center of mass, oh fuck, right? It's gonna go. So breaking these angles is all about keeping that center of mass over that center of base.